Hi, lovelies! Today we're going to be talking about how to process negative emotions to help you feel better and to help you feel more positive overall. A lot of the time, we can have negative and harmful ways that we are processing emotions, and it's important to actually work through emotions that don't feel good within us in more healthier ways to really be able to even long term have a better life and also feel better within ourselves. If you are ignoring your emotions, avoiding them, or using substances, or just overthinking and not doing anything about it, all of these can be maybe short term solutions, but they're not long term, and they're gonna keep either coming back or they are going to still be there so you can actually deal with them properly. So this is not going to help in the long term, and it's just harming you more than actually helping you. So today we're going to really look into how we can actually help you work through your emotions better so you have a better long-term solution, and for you to actually start feeling better and be able to actually be more positive if you want to be more positive about things. Now, painful emotions or uncomfortable emotions can be coming from all areas. It can be to do with people not meeting your needs or you not meeting your own needs, do with family issues, relationship issues, friendship issues. It can do with how you feel about yourself. It can do with work stress. It can do with work problems. There's so many areas that could actually be affecting you and could be causing you to have feelings coming up that you need to deal with. If you feel constantly uncomfortable and painful within your body, why is that? And could this be coming from the past, or is it coming from what is going on in the moment in your life? Now, when I talk about painful or uncomfortable feelings within your body, I'm talking about things like anger, I'm talking about things like fear, like insecurities, like shame, like guilt, like hatred, like disgust, like jealousy, like grief and loneliness. And why I call these emotions painful or uncomfortable instead of negative emotions is because there is there is such a label on them now that people are so focused on, okay, I want these feelings instead of these feelings. Well, the thing is the negative emotions that you are saying that you identify as negative emotions are actually there for you for a reason. They are actually useful for you. And I believe that neither are positive or negative. They're there to help and guide you down the right path. They're there to identify what might be right for you and what might not be right for you. For example, there's some injustice going on, you might get angry. So it's identifying that maybe you have the solution for that. Maybe you can do something about that, that you're seeing an injustice happen. It's trying to almost motivate you to maybe even do something about it. Or is there sadness coming up? If there's sadness coming up, is it because you have to start paying attention to what's going on around you or what has gone into the past so you can learn something from it, so you can see where you are not happy and how to be able to shift that. Fears and anxieties could be helping you to identify solutions and to come up with solutions that make you feel better, working with your fear to actually identify how is the best approach to go ahead and do this, or how can I feel better about this when it comes to my fear. Guilt can be a good indicator for how you treat others and that you want to treat others in a better way and that you don't necessarily want to hurt others. Jealousy can also help when it comes to your motivation to be able to see someone else and say, okay, well, I want to be there, so how can I get there? How can I motivate myself to get there? What do I need to do to get to the same place the other person is? And it helps almost motivate you. These are just simply examples of things of how these emotions can be helpful. Of course, they can be harmful as well if you're stuck in these emotions. But what I'm trying to get at is there are benefits when it comes to these emotions. There are reasons why they're coming up. They're not coming up simply to make you feel worse. They're coming up to help you identify what is going on and help you almost motivate you or protect you. It is important that you distinguish this first. And yes, I know it can be extremely hard to be in these emotions, especially if you've had trauma or very harsh experiences in the past. I know, I've been there. But it is also important to work through them. And obviously, you're watching this, so you want to. This is the first real step when it comes to this, is to just forget about the negative emotion label and actually just focus on what exactly you're feeling, whether that's fear, anger, or happiness, or joy, or whatever it is, whatever emotion it is. Focus on that rather than thinking of it as in positive or negative. Focus on what feels good within yourself and what maybe doesn't feel good within yourself. Focus on those areas rather than focusing on it being negative or positive. Because when you focus on it being negative, you're not likely to want to be in that emotion. Because it's like, okay, well, if I'm in the negative emotion, then I'm in a lower vibration. Well, funny enough, if you actually work through that emotion, that negative emotion, you will be in a higher vibration by using unhealthy coping strategies and doing unhealthy things, and avoiding them or ignoring them are going to lower your vibration because you're not dealing with them. So by saying that I'm just going to ignore them and avoid them, well, that's not going to be helpful to you at all because it's still going to be there. And then all you're doing is then keeping yourself at a lower vibration, whether you realize it or not. Forcing yourself to be positive is not going to do the trick overall. You're going to be in a higher vibration and feel more positive after you've actually worked through that emotion. So the first step is really just stopping for a second. Just stop. Just close your eyes and actually see what is going on in your body. Is there an emotion coming up that you are feeling that is painful or that is uncomfortable, or that you know is in one of the categories I mentioned previously? Whether it's fear, anger, sadness, whatever it is. Once you've identified what that is within your body, ask yourself or your body, what is this emotion? What am I feeling? And see what comes up. And then put a label on whatever that is, whether that's sadness, anger, frustration, jealousy, whatever it is, whatever emotion is coming up. And then ask yourself, ask your body, why am I having this emotion? Where is this emotion coming from? You can even ask yourself, okay, is this emotion coming from what is happening with me currently? Or is this emotion coming up from the past? If it is coming from the past, or if it's coming up from a certain situation that is going on currently, understand why it's there and what it's trying to tell you. What is it trying to get you to learn, whether from the past or from the experience that you're going on currently? How is this emotion currently actually helping you and serving you? A lot of the time, once we've simply acknowledged the feelings that we're having within our body, it almost helps to dissipate. It almost just wants you to become aware of what it's trying to tell you. The more you ignore it, the more it's going to stay there. So once you acknowledge it, that's a big step because it's helping you to identify something and it's done its job. Now, if you need to write this out when you're doing it, when you're asking these questions, write it out. Write down exactly how you're feeling, write down exactly how it's serving you, write down exactly what you're learning from it, write it all out as much as you need to, but as really being able to go into deep into that emotion. You can even close your eyes and imagine yourself going into that emotion and asking it. So next step for this is to, wherever you're feeling that emotion, put your hands, say the arm, put your hands on your arm and simply just say, thank you for making me aware of this. Thank you for helping me acknowledge this. I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you're feeling like this. I am thankful for you helping me acknowledge this, and I understand this. Then you can say to that part of your body or yourself, what do you need from me to feel better? For example, if it's fears or anxiety, what you can say, okay, what do you need from me to feel more protected? How can we have a win-win solution? How can I still do this, but also feel safer, more protected? Maybe it might say, okay, well, if you prepare a bit more, or if you do some meditation before you go, or if you put some music that can help boost your confidence up a bit. Maybe it's, okay, well, I'll feel better once you work on the fears from the past. If it comes to anger, when a certain circumstance comes up again that is similar, maybe it's teaching you to set better boundaries. So how can you set better boundaries? It's about really working with it instead of working against it, and actually being in your body to know what you're feeling. A lot of us, we're too much in our heads than we are in our body. It's about getting back into our body and really understanding what is coming up. Then you can write a commitment down, one sentence of a commitment down to say, okay, I'm going to do this the next time this comes up, or I'm going to do this to help you feel better now, whatever it is. And of course, it's also about accepting the emotions that you're having. Like I said before, it's not about rejecting them, it's about accepting them. Accepting and to not be so judgmental about the feelings that you're having. Show the uncomfortable and painful feelings some care and love and nurture instead of constantly rejecting them. And then just imagine all the emotions that you're feeling just being released at the top of your head towards the white light, and that any other negative energy is being released. If it's in a particular area, just imagine it going out from there and releasing. You can also imagine any feelings or any trauma within that area just releasing as well. There could be emotion under emotion. A lot of the time we can feel angry about something, but underneath it could actually be some sadness or grief. So it's about, okay, if you've worked through the anger and now you're feeling some sadness, you need to also be willing to work through that as well. Even if you want to take a break, but it's important to go back to that feeling and actually also work through that feeling so that you do feel more release within your body. Or if it's not another level of an emotion, could also be related to another experience that's coming up. Maybe you dealt with one experience, but another experience is associated with what you were working through, and that's what's also coming up. So there's a lot of areas when it comes to this, but it's about really being able to work with your body. The main thing when it comes to processing your emotions is actually talking to your emotions. That's the main thing. It's being willing to talk and work with your emotions. It might sound silly to talk to your emotions, but it's actually, and your body, but it's actually important because it actually helps you identify and process your emotions. So for example, if loneliness comes up and you've identified that you are feeling lonely, and that part of yourself, wherever it is within your body or wherever you're feeling it, and it says to you, okay, well, I have an unmet need and I need some connection. and you say, okay, what is the solution for this? And you discuss a solution. Maybe that solution is calling a friend up or messaging a friend. Okay, then do that, but don't just leave it. Don't just say, oh yeah, I'll do that solution, but then I'm not going to actually do it. No, you need to actually be willing to actually do the solutions or do the activities that the emotion and you have actually discussed and have agreed upon. Also, learning how to respond to things. Really, first identifying, okay, am I getting triggered right now? Is there a conversation right now going on that I'm getting triggered about? And instead of reacting straight away, identify what is actually going on within your body first. And really thinking about what you're going to say before you say it, instead of simply reacting. Now, if all of what I'm saying is hard for you to do, and you're struggling to do this, it's important to also get help. If you're finding that this is not something that is really working for you, or if it's things that are too hard for you to deal with, especially if you haven't worked through a lot of trauma from your past, it might be beneficial for you to also go see someone to deal and work through your emotions as well, if it's too much for you, whether that's a therapist, a healer, whoever it is. It's important to go and get help if this is too hard for you to do, or if you feel like you can't do this on your own. So the next step is really finding something that you can do to help release the emotions you're having and to have an outlet for yourself. And a lot of the time, movement can really help any stuck energy and emotions to be released. So dancing, walking, whatever exercise you want to do that is fun for you, that you enjoy, this can really help when it comes to the emotions that you are working through and wanting to release more of. And there's also a lot of guided meditations out there for you to help you when it comes to the emotions you're feeling and to help you release the emotions you're feeling as well. Also, practicing being in the moment, practicing being in the present moment, forgetting about everything else and just being present with yourself, with your surroundings. Also, working on being grateful for what you have, being grateful for yourself, being grateful for your emotions. Being in gratitude is a very high vibration and it can really help you feel better. There was one day I wasn't in the very best of moods, and instead of ignoring my emotions, I sat down, I wrote exactly how I was feeling out, I let it all out, and I was able then to say, okay, let all that frustration out. Let me now be grateful for the things that I actually already have, and let me be grateful for myself and what I'm doing, and be grateful for all the things I can possibly be grateful for, and actually making a list. And this actually helped me feel better. Or maybe you can create something. Creation is so good when it comes to emotions and processing emotions, whether it comes to art or writing or whatever you like to do. When it comes to creating, you can actually put your energy into something and create something, and this can also help you with releasing and creating and inspiring you and helping you be in a higher vibration. Or you can even learn something new that you can create. There's so many things you can do, and those are just a few things that can actually help your vibration after you've released those emotions to help lift you up. So that being said, I'm going to leave you here, and I hope that I've helped, and I hope that you have gotten something out of this video. Also, if you've liked this video, please like it, and if you think it was useful, please share this with anyone who you think that might get use out of it. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I will see you next week. I'm sending you all unconditional love and healing energy, and remember, you are not alone. and I love you lots. Mwah.